Who wants to hear a shitty story? No one, but we're gonna tell it anyway because we read the whole thing, yeah. Welcome to the book club from hell.
Now we're at the very end.
We're at the very... Oh, how far we have come.
7 weeks later.
Oh, for God's sake. I always have such mixed feelings about this ending because on the one hand, I'm like, oh, this is sad. That's pretty sad. And then on the other hand, I'm like, they got what they fucking deserve.
Oh, I thought you were going to say mixed feelings on whether it's good or not.
Oh, no.
I won't say how I feel yet. We'll get to the end and I'll explain it. But, I say I'll explain it. I'll be explaining it to myself as well. Like,
you haven't decided yet
at this point. I'm pretty sure I know which way I lean, but just the details I'm not clear on, you know?
All
Like, because
right.
I know there's parts that, like, there's parts that I do like, there's parts that I don't like, and I just don't know how much they weigh against each other in my head right now.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of weird. It's a little bit of a departure, I think, from the tone of a lot of it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, too, that's, like, both yes and no.
Yeah.
Because I, like, the things that you might think that I'm thinking are like, ooh, bad versus good. I don't think it is. You know what I mean? I think it's a little bit different from what you might be expecting.
You might assume.
Yeah.
I am curious to hear your opinions because I think I like the ending.
In terms of departure from the tone, it started in the last chunk a little bit. And I think it's mostly like the reason why it's like that is because they have to get to an ending.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to ground yourself in something to like reach an end that's gonna be an actual ending and not just like, oh yeah, it's done. Like,
yeah.
So
then they carry on indefinitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate like fan fictions that have an end or like TV shows that have an end. Like fan fiction is more so because that's easier to just leave.
Yeah.
And like not know where you're going when you start.
It's good to have a nice wrap up.
Yeah, I see.
Good to have a nice wrap up.
Yeah, I'll see fan fictions that say like chapter 2 out of 25, and I'm like, oh, I'll read that because you said 25 is like,
yeah, you know where you're going.
You know
where you're going.
Yeah, but if it says like 2 out of question mark, like, no, sorry.
I love that that's your taste.
Yeah,
I love that that's your criterion. I just read anything. I'm the trash man. I get in the ring. I start throwing around garbage.
Well, when it's when it's within like a month or two, I'll read whatever. But once I start getting past that, I'm like, I gotta start like having some standards on like update times, you know, or else I'm just gonna get burned.
Fair enough. I just let myself get burned over and over again. Like Song
I've learned that lesson. Oh God, shut the fuck up. You shut up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right.
Okay.
Do you want to get started?
Yes, I think we've said enough before going into it.
Chapter 61. This picks up right where we left off last time. Boom is still crying in the basement. Songwoo just said something mean.
Yeah, I couldn't remember why he was crying in the basement, but I was like, who cares?
Songwoo said he wishes they'd never met.
Right. So Boom's having like a total breakdown.
Yeah, he's having like a shit fit in the basement.
Yeah, and Boom's freaking out. Songwoo goes upstairs because he hears a ding dong at the door.
Okay, well first of all, everyone looks so fucking sad when this chapter opens.
Oh yeah,
they just all look sad. But Chief Kwok is going up to his house because he's becoming suspicious, right? And he smokes like 6 cigarettes in preparation for this.
He's stressed.
Like there's a panel where he's smoking and he drops it on the ground. There's like 5 other cigarettes down there.
Yeah.
So then someone was like, "Oh, the doorbell's ringing. I have to be presentable," because he just cut his hair with a box cutter a minute ago.
Yeah, he puts on his normal face, but before opening the door, he goes upstairs and grabs a little baggie full of little colorful thingies that I thought were pills.
I also thought they were pills. They're not pills.
Yeah, they're not. But I was like, are you telling me that like Songwoo has had medication?
I know. I was like, this is him medicated? I had the exact same thought. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is he on?
I was like, what is this?
His doctor fucked up.
I was like, if he's on something, 1, is it not doing anything? Or 2, is it doing something? And how much worse could he be?
Exactly. Yeah, he puts on his hat and his Nike slides to open the door.
Yeah. Gotta look presentable. Also, it's raining. I don't know if that matters, but it's raining.
It's symbolism for things are bad.
And he still only has 1 eyeball.
Everybody's got 1 eyeball. Chief Kwok's
chief is
like,
chief is here.
he's like, hey, isn't it a little bit fucked up that this girl was like really close to you and she disappeared now? And so I was like, just come into my house. And he does.
He's way more subtle about interrogating him, though.
No, this is objectively a better cop than the other cop.
Yeah. Better at being a cop.
Yeah, like he's just like, he's very chill. He's not aggressive. Like,
Good job, Grandpop Cop.
yeah,
Grand
he's
cop,
just kind of like subtly poking for information.
Pop Cop.
Pop cop.
But yeah, Song was like, he's like, this is something we should talk about sitting down. All he had asked was like, do you have any other witnesses that like saw you leave the party besides Boom? And Song was like, we need to talk about this sitting down. It's like, that's not sus.
Also, okay, I completely misunderstood that line because Chief Kwok asks him, he's like, you guys left the after party early, why? And Song was like, because Boom was really uncomfortable, so we went home. And he goes, is there anyone else besides Boom who could corroborate that? And I was like, anyone else that could corroborate that Boom was uncomfortable? I was like, anyone that looked at him.
No, that they left early. And it's like, yeah, the whole party.
The whole party saw them leave.
Yeah.
And they all saw why, too, so.
But Songwoo was like, no, you have to come inside. You should come inside.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
And Sungwoo is wild in today. He's, like, super weird.
Yeah, he's like, I can't describe, his face is like unimpressed at all times.
He keeps making like weird creepy faces and saying weird creepy shit.
Yeah, like let's see.
There's a bit where like they're like, we never found your mom's body, and he's like, yes, I talk to her all the time. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that face, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's not a face of someone who's okay.
Anyway, have some tea.
Drink this tea.
You're like, oh God. Like even the cop is like, oh God.
Yeah. And while this is happening, the cop like notices a little thingy on the ground, which is like one of the things we thought was a pill. And he's like, ooh, I'll grab that with my stocked foot. I will grab that.
With my toesies.
Yeah, my little toesies. And he's looking at this thing and he's like, what is that? And that's when it's the reveal is that it's fake nails. It's the fake nails that June would wear or like them. Like he probably kept them from her. Didn't we have a panel of that?
He did take them from her. And I that's really fucking weird. The same way that he keeps all of their laundry, he kept her fake nails.
But the thing is, the laundry is weirder than the nails in terms of serial killers because the nails is like a normal thing for like serial killer tropes.
Yeah, okay, he broke off all of this girl's acrylic nails, which is just not terribly easy to do.
No, but he's like a monster.
It's like it's so much effort to break off 10 acrylic nails.
Monster beef.
Wild. Unbelievable. Like, why do you keep this shit? What does this do for you? He never even looks at any of it. Like,
that's why I said he says he doesn't plan, but he definitely plans ahead.
He definitely plans. And he planted this for the chief to find. Like, he went and grabbed this upstairs and dropped it on the floor for the chief to find, which is just
for sure.
Dramatic ass. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was like, why did he?
You didn't have to. You could have just brought him in and killed him.
Yeah, he wanted to be caught. I was like, why does he want to be caught? What is the thrill in this? Like, he's not going to do anything after that, you know? You already had your little, like, cat and mouse moment with the police officer, like, from before.
Yeah, I don't...
Why do you have to have it again?
He's, like, just so clearly not in a great headspace. Like, he hands this guy some tea, and he's, like, shaking. Like, his head is bleeding. Like, he's just not well.
Yeah, I was like, why was his head bleeding? But you reminded me that he cut his hair with an
like,
X-Acto knife. Like,
hacked at his head in the last chapter. So he's just not right now.
There is so the important line in this exchange is the one where the cop asks about the mom. He's like, have you ever considered she might still be alive because we never found her body, but we wrapped up the case as a homicide. And he's like, hey, have you ever thought she might be alive somewhere? And she's like, Song was like, she's very much alive. She still plays a large role in my life after all. And at that moment I was like, ew, he's talking about Boom.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
In the moment.
It's just not good.
No, it's nasty.
It's just not good. And the cop's like, okay.
Yeah, like, But so he's like, okay, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, he tries to duck out with the fake nail.
Yeah.
And Songwoo stops him.
Yeah, Songwoo's like
he plays this like
big brain moves.
Just a weird gambit. He's like, you dropped this, and he holds out the fake nail, but it's It's another one?
Yeah, because he saw that it was gone.
The cop, like, feels his pocket.
He saw that the nail wasn't on the floor anymore, so he's like, haha, he took it. I was like, well, what if he just kicked it by accident and you didn't see where it went? Like,
That's also no, Sangwoo has never once considered the possibility of something going under a piece of furniture. Like, his lack of object permanence will not allow that theory to stand.
Yeah. But yeah, he pulls out like a second nail and is like, you dropped this, and the cop's patting his pockets, and he's like, wow, you're a terrible cop. You suck. Like,
Sangwoo was like, you can't just steal shit from people's houses. It's not admissible evidence. And I was like, damn, you're right. Like, I know you're crazy, but you are right. That's true.
And then he pulls like one of the best faces because it's his like crazy face, but it looks like his eyes are getting closer to each other. Like he's really pulling in the crease on his nose.
Oh my God bless him.
But he gets mad because he's like, he's got trust issues, and he's like, you can't trust anyone. You can't even trust a police officer who's like, you thought was good. You can't trust anyone. We made a promise.
You promised you were going to leave me alone after I almost sued you for homophobic discrimination. Oh my God.
And then he's like, I'm very disappointed in you. And you're like, well, he's dead. Like,
yeah, goodbye to Chief Quack.
Goodbye, Chief Quack. I knew you for 3 chapters.
You're my favorite character. Been there for me since the start.
That's chapter 61.
Pour one out. Oh my God. Chapter 62, we're back with my least favorite person on the entire fucking planet.
Mr. Police.
I hate this guy. I hate Sung-bae. But we're in his apartment. He's smoking.
And he's a bit suicidal. Or no, that's later. Never mind.
Just litters. He just fucking litters.
Yeah.
He's smoking. He just drops it off the balcony and leaves it.
Yeah, he's not having a good time. He's depressed. He's depressed right now. He's not quite there yet, but he's depressed.
His phone is under the bed for some fucking reason.
Yeah. Well, he was probably watching porn and then it just fell under there, so.
Nice.
Nice.
Vibes.
But yeah, he gets a phone call and it's about Chief Quack. He died via staged suicide, which he did it again. Like, he did the same thing.
I know. This is the laziest police force in the fucking world. Like, it's the exact same MO. It's the same. It is the fucking same. Like, someone killed him and then dragged him up in the woods and hung his body.
Yeah. God.
And everyone's like, well, seems legit.
He's being all depressed, and his friend gives him the lighter that the chief had. He's like, you should have this back or whatever.
Okay, I don't understand this. So he gets this lighter back that he gave to Chief Quack, right? And he's like, oh, he was always telling me to stop smoking. I guess he hadn't quit either. I was like, you gave him a lighter thinking that he hated smoking and not knowing that he smoked. Like, that's a terrible fucking gift. Like, you didn't think he smoked and you gave him a lighter? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I hate you. I hate this guy.
Well, he knew he was... No, it's worse, because he knew he was smoking, but knew he wanted to quit, but still gave him a lighter.
I hate him. I hate Sung-bae.
Like, it's even worse.
What a prick.
Yeah, and he even leaves the funeral early. He's like, I'm gonna fuck off now. Bye.
God.
Oh,
he makes someone else leave, too, to drive him to the bus stop.
He's like, please bring me to the bus stop.
Oh, prick.
And then the friend is like monologuing about how he's like, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem, I worked the Ji-yoon case and like, it's all weird and shit. And like, I don't know.
He seemed like he was getting somewhere on it and then he fucking killed himself. Like, it just seems weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
And Sung-bae's like, I guess.
Somebody's like, I guess, but I've been saying this about the Ji-yoon case for a while, so I don't really, there's nothing more I can do. Like,
yeah. And then he has all these flashbacks of, like, good times with Chief Quack, and I'm like, we only ever saw you two arguing. Like, yeah, I don't believe that you had these good times.
There's a panel of his foot up on the dash.
Yeah.
It's like a dash cam POV, so it's like right in your face.
Yeah, and they're both, like, laughing at the foot.
And you're like, ew. Well, I guess he has athlete's foot. Or no, the other guy has athlete's foot.
Hilarious.
And it makes sense.
It all comes back around, huh?
But yeah, then he's back in his apartment, depressed, hallucinating Sangwoo.
As always.
As always. He throws a beer at his TV.
Bitch, same.
And then he contemplates suicide via jumping off his balcony.
Well, first he has that bug planted in Sangwoo's house, right?
Yeah.
So he pulls it out and listens to it, and Sangwoo's apparently just standing there, like, laughing really hard.
Probably. Well, I think he's laughing really hard, but also maybe getting a blowjob.
Yeah, it sounds something like that, because he's also, like, gasping. So, whatever. He's just making crazy serial killer noises.
Either he's gasping, or it's like, boom.
Yeah.
Something's going on that's
it's just not good.
Fucking weird.
I was like, this is actually creepy. Like,
Yeah.
If I turned on a book and heard that, I would also be crying.
Yeah. Especially when you know that voice is probably the one that killed your not dad.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, oh, I have to listen to my not dad's murderer get a creepy serial killer blowjob.
You know how it is. You know how it is.
Yeah, but that's all of chapter 62. It's not that long.
Is this the Christmas special now?
Yeah, which it's cute.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I liked this. They
Yeah.
meet as babies. They're both at Lotte World at the same time around Christmas.
Yeah.
And Sangwoo's mom isn't paying attention to him.
You said it was relevant to the plot. This is not relevant. To
I
the
remembered it
plot.
being vaguely plot relevant. I was like, oh, this seems like
It's only vaguely plot relevant because they like met as children supposedly, but this is in that weird like dream world lighting. So
It's also true. I was like, oh, I think it takes place in canon, so it's plot relevant.
and then it's like Merry Christmas. At
Merry
the end.
Christmas. Fucking yeah, baby Sangwoo is at the theme park and his mom's not paying attention to him and he's crying. So baby Boom, who's like a few years older, wanders over and like
He's
looks
like
at the baby and is like, oh, this will ruin my life someday.
It's like an older toddler like staring at a baby.
Yeah.
The baby grabs his finger.
I do have a note that says Boom, take the baby and run, but
Probably should.
it would have avoided everything.
But then they couldn't be together because then they'd be like brothers. That'd be weird.
That's also true. So maybe it worked out for the best because now you can fuck, I guess.
You can bang. But yeah, that's a Christmas special.
It's a Christmas special.
Chapter 63.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the one where he almost jumps off the balcony. But
Yes, you kept
does
waiting
not.
for it.
I know. Well, it felt like he was going to kill himself the whole time. That's why I was like saying it every time because he ended up actually doing it. Like when I was reading it and I got to the like first scene with him, I was like, damn, he does not look good.
No. Hey, King, you look like garbage.
King, you look like shit.
There's also, he's like remembering something someone told him about this Chief Quat case and how it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, because
Yeah.
he's hung from this huge tree that he probably couldn't have reached himself. And there's no car or any other way of getting there, like, anywhere nearby.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Like, the rest of the cops just aren't dealing with it.
Greatest police force ever.
Like, oh my god, a dependable police force.
And then he goes and hangs out in front of Song-woo's house for a bit.
Yeah, like he's just standing in front. Songwoo's inside watching like UFC.
Yes.
Boom is not doing well at this point.
No. Mr. Police takes a shower. Boom's sitting next to Song-woo on the floor in the other room. Like,
Can't sit on the big boy couch. And he looks
No.
bad too. Like he's all beat up.
yeah.
He's got like a black eye. His life's just garbage right now.
Yeah, he's very not good.
Sorry to him.
For some reason, Song-woo is still keeping him around, even though he's like, I should have killed you. It's for his weird voyeuristic blowjobs in front of the door.
Yeah, that was interesting. So Sungbei has been working out in preparation, I guess, for fighting Sangwoo, but also he just goes and lingers in front of the door sometimes. And so Sangwoo stands on the other side of the door and watches him through the peephole and just gets like marathon suckage while he's watching this guy spy on him.
Yeah, they're both just staring at each other, and Boom's like being forced to give a blowjob. Like,
Poor Boom.
they're staring at each other through a door.
They're staring at each other through the door and fucking Boom's on the floor like
Yeah.
the whole time.
You're like, oh god.
The poor bastard.
But it's okay because the Mr. Police turns his life around. He's back to normal.
Yeah, great. I'm so happy for him.
He's got his glasses back on and he's shaved.
So you know he's doing well.
Yeah, but he's about to go like he got back to normal so he could go and like to his own funeral basically. Like he's like I gotta go. I gotta go
fist fight
confront
Sangwoo. There's a
I'm gonna
bit
fucking die, but
there's a bit where he's like, this is a really selfish way of handling this, and I was like, yeah, it is. Like
it is.
okay.
If Sangwoo was innocent like in any way, this would be extremely bad. But
Yeah.
somehow you were correct.
Yeah. Like, I hate this man. I hate him.
But yet again, Sangwoo was waiting for him because he left the door open.
Mm-hmm.
He just left his fucking front door
Yeah,
open.
probably wouldn't have taken that invitation if it were me.
Yeah, no.
If I showed up and I thought this guy was a serial killer and he left the door open for me, I probably wouldn't walk in, but Sungbei is a crazy motherfucker, so he does.
And Sangwoo pulls the classic, like, I'll tie up a victim for them to come and see.
Boom bait.
Yeah, boom is bait.
Boom bait. Boom bait.
He's back in his mom outfit, too. The country whore
Oh
crop
my God.
top.
It's classic. It's classic.
Yeah.
You know, we had to pull it all the way back around at the beginning. Even Sungbei
Yeah.
walks in and he's like, huh? Like, wait, why?
He's like, whatever, I'll get you out of here. And the kettle's going crazy.
It's a nice, you know, what is it? Like, it's a mirror to the first one, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
he goes in to untie Boom, and Boom is like, oh, behind you, like the girl that he untied at the beginning, and Sungwoo's behind him with the bat.
It rhymes. To be like Star Wars, it rhymes. That's the terminology they use for that.
I say anything. Kate is like, it's like Star Wars.
It is. Everything's like Star Wars.
Oh my god.
I could try harder and make absolutely everything you say about
Please
Star
don't.
Wars. But no,
I've
yeah,
never
that's
seen Star Wars. Every time you do this, I'm like, no, it's Star Wars.
Gotta cater to the Star Wars people. I'm gonna make you watch a Star Wars
Please
for the
don't.
channel.
Please don't do that. I'm about to start doing the same thing with Evangelion. I'm just gonna make reference to it constantly. I'll be like, this is just like
You
Evangelion.
You already do.
More rarely, though.
Yeah, but it's about the same amount that I do Star Wars.
Untrue. Don't you slander me like that.
Most of the ones I make are common Star Wars knowledge that you should know as a member of society.
I refuse to know anything about Star Wars because I'm a productive member of society. Oh my god. So yes, the kettle is going. Sungwoo's gas stove is like leaking like crazy right now.
Because he's got to turn it up real fucking high.
And the water's putting out the fire, so it's like...
He probably has all the other ones open too.
It's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah. But then Sungwoo beats him over the head with a bat.
Sungwoo does beat him over the head with a bat and pour some boiling water on his face.
Yeah.
He's giving like a monologue, like he's like, listen, you gotta stop following me around.
He says exactly what I said earlier, where it's like the policeman has like a crush on Sungwoo. I was like, damn it.
He's like, I'm just not interested in you. You gotta stop this. Chapter 64. Yeah, we're speeding towards the end here.
Yeah, well, because the end chapters are a little thicker with stuff. This is just action.
This is all just the lead-in, yeah. 64 starts up. He had Todoroki'd his ass. Like,
yeah, Todoroki, Zuko. It looks more Zuko-ish now that I'm actually staring at it.
Oh yeah, but Todoroki was with the boiling water.
Oh yeah. Did he do that with boiling water? I don't remember.
Yeah, his mom hit him with the boiling water from the kettle.
Right, his mom did it. Right, I forgot. See, I don't remember I know.
Come on, man. This is common My Hero Academia knowledge that you should know.
I
as
know
a member
the other
of society.
Todoroki backstory. I know the evil one's backstory, kind of. Not even. I know that he burnt himself like a chicken nugget, but
Nestor has a sock for Dobby, that one.
Yeah. I thought that I couldn't remember the main Todoroki guy's scar because I thought it was the dad. I was like, why would he do it with boiling water?
That's a good question.
He's got fire.
You do be having fire powers though.
I forgot it was the mom. So.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's a Sangwoo situation, and they're both crazy. Anyway, Sangwoo's monologuing. He's like, I don't even know who you are. I don't know your name. I don't know nothing about you.
Like, oh my god, he doesn't know his name. He goes to stab him, and he's like really close to doing it, but then stabs the floor next to his face because Boom like half tackled him from behind, and we get like the incredible shot of them, like a bird's eye view of them all on the floor, and I like just don't understand where the limbs are going.
Oh my god. Just 3 dudes piled up on the floor. He's like straddling Sungbei, and then like Boom is grabbing his waist from behind him. Yeah. But he's like laying in like a fetal position and grabbing Sungwoo. So it's just a mess. It's just a big mess.
Sungbei is like belly down on the floor, so his arms are like weird. It's so weird looking. Like Sangwoo looks like a frog. Like,
yeah, it's just a mess. Boom is also so tiny. Like,
yeah, he's so small. He's so small.
Oh my god! But Boom is like, can you stop doing this? And Sangwoo freaks out. Like, he's yelling at him. He gets distracted yelling at Boom for making too much noise and whining and trying to get him to stop.
Yeah, he chucks him against the counter, and he's having a moment in his head because Boom is kind of sniffling and hiccuping, and Sangwoo was like, "Oh my god, you're so loud! Like, please stop!
Like, God, it's too much
Shut
noise.
up.
I can't focus."
He's getting overstimulated.
He's getting the representation.
I feel so seen in
I
her.
feel so seen right now. But yeah, that's literally what's happening. He's like covering his ears. And while he's freaking out, Sungbei manages to grab the knife from him. And then Sungbei's like, I've got the evidence I came here for because I recorded that whole conversation, but I've decided that instead of turning it over, I'm just gonna kill you. And I was like,
he like destroys the evidence. I was like, what
bruh.
are you doing?
Bro, what's wrong with this man? Just 3 bloodthirsty motherfuckers in this kitchen, huh?
Yeah, he goes at him with the knife, but he misses.
I was like, bruh. So then they're fighting on the floor.
Yeah.
And Boom is just sitting there like, huh?
Yeah. They're like fist fighting because like the cop drops the knife and Songwoo's like, what did you bring this time to use on me? Because last time you used a taser gun. What did you bring? And the officer doesn't say anything and Songwoo gets like disappointed.
He's like, what? He's like, you came here with literally nothing? Like, you think you could just beat me in a fist fight? Are you joking? I'm like 8 feet tall. Like,
he's like, you just came with your hands? Pathetic.
Ugh. So then he beats his ass
So
again.
he beats him up. Yeah. He like knees him in the face.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, this is exactly how I killed the old man. This is how I killed your daddy. You're not daddy.
Yes, and that, of course, makes Sungbei angry, so he flips them over and starts beating up Songwoo.
Yeah.
And once again, Boom is just standing there like, like through the whole thing.
Yeah, Boom's still just in the corner with the knife on the floor.
Just making dope faces the whole time. Like,
But then they get flipped over again, and I got extremely confused because they flip over and Sungbei is on his back and he has Songwoo in
I
like
made
a
a note of
hold.
this too. He's got Songwoo in a chokehold, but he also wraps his legs around him like directly on his dick.
Yeah, but I got confused because I didn't realize that was Songwoo at first. I scrolled too fast and I was like, who the fuck is that?
Because he
like,
shaved
who's
his
this
head.
bald dude?
Yeah.
He shaved his head completely.
He shaved his hair off. And like, listen, the box cutter haircut, that was bad. The box cutter haircut was bad. I understand needing to get rid of that. Shaved head Songwoo, not a great look either. Once again, not a great look. I understand.
I literally didn't recognize him because I was too involved in like figuring out what this like flip over mechanic was because like Songwoo lifts his hips up and like jerks him around. I was like, wait, who's on top? And then it cut to like his bald head. I was like, who's this person? But then I recognized the eyes.
I understand we're still doing the parallelism thing, and he would have had this military cut when he and Boom met, but like,
yeah.
Oh, it's not a good haircut. It's just not a good haircut.
We do get Songwoo fan service. We get the V.
Of course, we have to get one last time with the
one
V.
last fan service.
So Sungbei gets him in a chokehold, and he's turning red, and clearly not doing well, and he starts yelling for Boom to stab the cop because the knife is on the floor. He's like, Boom, get him. And Boom thinks about it for a minute, like, incredibly.
Oh, I thought, for some reason, I thought some of this was the cop telling Boom to stab Songwoo. It's like,
absolutely
Christ,
not.
Dude.
No. He's not quite that bad.
I feel like he would have, though. If
he would have. It wouldn't have been out of character, but he doesn't. Songwoo yells at Boom to stab the cop, and Boom considers it and raises the knife, and that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, he's like, stab him to death. And you're like, oh,
get him in the throat. Next chapter 65.
Chapter 65.
Boom drops the knife, and he's like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
He bitched out again.
He's like, Songwoo, I'm so sick of this shit. I can't keep dealing with your bullshit.
We get another R word for the road from Songwoo.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm so angry. I'm about to start doing slurs again.
Yeah. God. And he's like, he wants to kill him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you stupid son of a bitch. I can't believe this. I can't believe after all I've done for you. And you're like, what have you done for him?
I'm so confused at this like crack moment. Like something cracks.
Something cracks.
I just don't know. Yeah, because
oh yeah, I think he breaks his wrist.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, that's Songwoo's hand. Gotcha.
Yes, he's screaming, and Sungbei stops him by breaking his wrist, so he stops yelling.
And then he flips him over and just starts beating the shit out of him.
Which was a bad move, because...
because now Boom's like, he's like, I've been triggered.
Now Songwoo's got a free hand, so he gets him back and flips them again.
Yeah.
They've just been flipping back and forth.
In this one little spot on the kitchen.
Oh my god.
But then he doesn't even care. He like has the police officer in like this weird upside down headlock, but then he cracks something like his shoulder or something. He dislocates it. And Songwoo like looks at Boom. He looks so tired. He starts to push himself up, but gives the police officer this weird like sideswipe punch to the face as he gets up. It was incredible. I was
It
like,
is amazing.
oh, he's done. Because you're like, oh, he's done. He's getting up. Whack. You're like, oh, never mind.
All right, then. A classic Songwoo move, once again.
But he grabs a knife and he's like, all right, I should have done this way earlier. Like first day we met, I should have just stabbed you. And he's like walking towards Boom. He's like, I'm going to stab you now. This'll make everything fine.
He literally gets up from fighting the cop, and Boom's face is like, oh.
It's like, Boom, you had 20 minutes to run away.
Like, he's like, oh, I made the wrong bet. I made the wrong bet on this fight, huh? Oopsie doopsie.
But then he tries to reason with him.
Yeah, no,
bit.
Songwoo's about to stab him. He's like, come on, Songwoo. He's like, really? It's me.
Your bestest buddy.
It's your best friend, me.
Me.
Remember when we got married, kind of? We went to One Day World together.
But Songwoo's like, I want to rip your face off. So, knife.
Yes.
Knife to the face.
Thankfully, I guess. Sunbae stops him.
By throwing his coat over his face.
Yeah, which notoriously has confused Songwoo. Every time this has happened, Songwoo has gotten very confused.
He's like a dog that you put like the blanket over the cage. It thinks it's sleepy time.
He's like, wait. So then Boom runs.
Yeah, well, he crawls out.
Yes, that's true. He crawls out on all fours.
Even though his legs work.
But quickly. He's quickly crawling.
Yeah, quickly crawling. God, but then Songwoo goes back into like this weird like couple mode. He's like, he cracks his face into Sungbae's and he's like, there's no room for you here.
I was like, this is what I've been saying to Sunbae since he showed up in the story.
Yeah, and then he stabs him.
I was like, bitch, you're right. You know what?
Yeah, and there's still gas going everywhere, but Sungbae's on the floor, Boom's outside crying in the rain.
It's just all not good. Like, nobody's doing well at this point. Nobody has made out from this fight well.
No.
Songwoo. Like, Boom is literally standing there, like, knocking his fingers together like an anime girl, like, trying to figure out which one of them is about to walk out of the house. Like,
yeah. And Songwoo's, he's hitting his head against the wall, and he's like...
Songwoo's fucking losing it. Like, he's crying, he's laughing, he's banging his own head on the wall, like, he's losing it.
He's like, the chief thought I seemed to think I killed my own parents. You're the one who told him that, didn't you? It's like, this is what you're gonna talk about right now? You think he did that? Think he's just trying to get
where did you get that conclusion? And then he's like, I'm gonna slice off your skin like I'm scooping ice cream. And I was like,
yeah.
Ugh.
He's like, I'm gonna grind your bare bones into dust. I was like, that seems a little excessive.
I was like, damn, okay. He won't even be there for most of that. Like, that's just for you.
You gonna make some bread with that too? Like, what are you, the fucking giant?
Damn.
I don't understand.
All right.
But then he's like, you're right. I did kill them. Like, you didn't kill your parents.
He didn't. He's just...
You didn't do it.
He doesn't have a very firm grasp of reality.
No, not at all.
It's
but
okay.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you. But the policeman made it to his lighter that had fallen on the ground.
He flicks open his shitty lighter and the whole house explodes.
First try, he gets the flame.
The whole fucking house explodes.
Yeah. Well, it was full of gas. That'll happen.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just hilarious that that's how this goes out. Like,
yeah.
The house explodes.
And then he crawls out of the house and he sees Boom kind of standing there, like
Boom has literally just been standing in the yard, like.
And all he says is, "Get away! It's dangerous." Like, yeah, the house exploded.
Yeah, there's an explosion, dude.
You're like, okay, sure. I guess Boom is still standing there.
If I were standing there and this house just exploded, I would shit. Like,
he probably did.
Like, what?
Well, he might have not had any food in him to shit. But
that's also
okay.
true. That's also how he's resisted ass infection this whole time. Anyway. So Songwoo's inside, crawling to the door, but he can't get out because Sungbae's standing there holding the door closed.
He's literally cooking him to death.
I want to talk a little bit about these panels because
okay.
I was trying to remember this. Here's some serious literary talk for a minute. Because I took a bunch of classes on horror as a genre. And there's a concept called the monumental horror image, which is like the image in a great piece of horror that sticks with you, like when you close your eyes trying to fall asleep, it's the one that shows up for you, the most haunting piece of imagery that you're left with at the end of a good horror story. I was like, for me in this, it's definitely like when he's laying on the ground and he hears his mom coming to, like, join him at the bottom of the stairs in burning damnation.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you know what? Vibes.
Yeah, I guess I could see how that's freaky. Mine already happened, though. It was the mom, like, deep-throating the knife.
Yes, and I was gonna bring this up there, but I couldn't remember the phrase monumental horror image. Which is why I was like, we'll talk about this later.
Oh my god.
But I do think that like, that moment of, like, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, really pregnant imagery, you know?
Vivid?
Like, something that's been built to such an extent that the image itself carries the story in it, you know?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what the word for that is.
Yeah,
though,
but for me, it is that one where he's laying at the bottom of the stairs, burning to death.
I mean, I guess you could just say the climactic moment.
Yeah.
As long as if you get
Top
that
tier.
image and your climax to, like, happen at the same time, then it's perfect. It happens in the Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
But the Lord of the Rings also has the, like, best you probably watched this video, the Just Right video, where he, like, talks about, like, the separated, like, story and oh shit, I can't remember the other name, but the plot and the story endings are separate, or climaxes are separate.
Yeah.
This story kind of does it too a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, this would be the plot climax, and
Yeah,
then the
this is
story
the
climax
culmination.
happens later. Yeah. Which the story climax in this one is a little bit more subtle than the Lord of the Rings, I guess. But
Oh my god.
it does happen, like, right at the end, which is a little strange because there's no
There's no, what is that called?
denouement.
Denouement. That's exactly what I was thinking.
But which I guess that happens a lot in, like, horror a little bit, like certain horror movies. Like, you don't really get, like, a really long
No, there
denouement.
almost never is one.
It's just like, oh, they made it out. Like, that's
Yeah,
the
they leave
after.
and that's the end.
Yeah. So.
Unless it's like Psycho, where they literally have a guy stand there and just explain the whole plot to you.
Yeah, because, like, in regular action movies, you get, like, oh, I'm gonna do Star Wars because you know this moment, the, like, I am your father moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the climax, and then they have, like, 10 minutes after that of, like, oh, he has to get back to his friends, and then they have to be like, well, we'll get him next time. Like, that's the best movie, though, so, like, I'm really underplaying that, but that's essentially what happens.
Oh my
like,
god.
you have that, like, 5 to 10 minutes of, like, all right, they have to reset. Horror
Yeah.
movies, they don't really do that.
No,
even
because
if
they
there
want
are,
to
like,
leave you at the
sequels,
height
but-
of the adrenaline, you know?
Yeah. No, they so that's kind of what essentially ends up happening in this one. But they do separate out the plot and the story.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah,
kind of nice.
This is definitely, well, this is also, you know, this is the end of Sungwoo's story here, because
Yeah.
we've got the kind of deuteragonist thing going on here. We have not finished Boom's story, but we've finished Songwoo's.
Yeah.
Because his prophecy came true.
Well, Songwoo is the plot.
That is, it's true.
Songwoo's the plot and Boom is the story because he's the one. He's the Nick Carraway?
The Nick Carraway to
Yeah.
Songwoo's Jay Gatsby.
So he's the story because he's literally, like, the viewpoint through which the story is being told to the audience.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think this comic, and I've said this before, but I think on a technical level, this does a lot of really cool, interesting things.
Yeah.
And this scene encapsulates a lot of them. But it's also nuts. And this scene is also that.
Yeah. And it has a lot of similar imagery to another thing, but it makes it more prevalent in the next chapter. So I'll talk about it then. But yeah, Boom's standing horrified outside of the house as Songwoo is burning to a crisp inside.
Songwoo burns to death with with his imaginary mom.
With his imaginary mom, yeah. Calling out from upstairs.
Yes.
And then we go to chapter 66.
Chapter 66, we've reached end part 1.
Yeah. You said that you confused me a little bit because when I was like, oh, there's like 6 or 7 chapters left, you're like, yeah, the last one's like a 2-parter. And I assumed, like, the way you phrased it was like, you're like, it's double the length of a regular chapter. And I was like, oh, so chapter 67 is going to be extra long. You just meant, like, it's in 2 parts.
Oh, yeah, no, I meant both.
Which essentially is just, like, 2 chapters.
It's in 2 parts, but both are longer than typical chapters.
Just by a little bit. There's still, like, a lot of action that you can just...
Yeah, you can just kind of fly through.
Like this beginning part where the fire department shows up.
The fire brigade is here.
Yeah,
this cop
the good guys.
They are the only good guys in the whole fucking comic. Sungbae makes another fucking misstep here, because he's getting dragged away and decides to say one last stupid insensitive thing. Which is, oh, Boom, don't worry, you'll never have to see him again.
Which, like, you think would be comforting, but, like, you don't know. You
You have to be aware at this point that Boom has Stockholm Syndrome. Like, you have to be aware.
Yeah.
He considered stabbing you for him.
Even if you didn't see that or, like, have them at that scene in the police station where he was pretending to be his boyfriend, knowing that he had been there for months, you have to be, like,
you just have to be kind of cautious about what you say.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this guy.
But it's okay because he gets carted off and Boom's staring at the fiery.
Yeah, so he can't
floor.
say anything else stupid.
Yeah.
The cops drag out Songwoo's disgusting mutilated body, and Boom won't believe it's him because it's no longer
the fireman.
pretty.
The firemen
The
drag
firemen drag out his
Do
disgusting
not
mutilated
insult
body.
the firemen.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, Songwoo's body is all like mutilated and like his cheek is burnt through, so you can see his teeth. He looks like Two-Face.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
It's Harvey Two-Face.
It's Harvey Two-Face. Yeah, Boom is like, that can't be Songwoo. He's too ugly.
Yeah.
So he stops.
So he tells you.
Yeah, he stops the firefighter, and he's like, "There's people still inside. Songwoo is still inside." And the firefighter's like, "Miss, you need to go." I was like, "This guy can't catch a fucking break." Like,
No. But like, Boom. Who did you think that was?
I don't know. He's not in a good headspace once again.
Yeah, maybe he thought it was one of his many victims in the basement.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they found a dead body. Like,
but again, the firefighters are the only reasonable people in the whole thing. So they're like, well, if someone says there's someone still inside, we should check and make sure. I was like, this is the only responsible thing anyone has done in the entire comic.
And I don't know if we clarified it, but Songwoo is definitely like alive. Like they take him out like as a living.
Oh yeah, he's still breathing. He's just not conscious.
He's still breathing. Yeah, he's all fucked up, but he is alive. But yeah, so the firemen, they're like, we have to search all the floors again, like after they put the fire out.
Yeah.
Which is reasonable.
For some fucking reason, there's a bike upstairs.
And they're searching the second floor, and there's a big ol' burn on the wall because it is hollow. And that's what happens when it's really hot in a room and there's just wallpaper stretched over the wall.
Yes.
Not actual drywall. So there's a big ol' dumpling-shaped burn on the wall.
They peel that open, but we don't get to see it yet.
No, they stick a finger in, and you can see that, oh, it's bricks, not drywall, whatever. But there's like bricks, and there's a hole next to it underneath this wallpaper. And one of them yells, and you're like, I have a good idea of what might be in there, but it's worse than you think.
Yeah, remember earlier when I mentioned Psycho?
My initial thought right now is there is a dead body in there. I assumed it was the uncle.
Oh, really?
Because we didn't get to see what he did with the body parts.
That's also true, I guess, yeah.
So I was like, all right, he must keep some of his victims up there. Like, he buries some of them, but he keeps some of them in the house or whatever. Like, you know?
Yeah.
That's my assumption at this point. Which is technically correct.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, we see some news stories. We get some computer news stories.
It's
and
boring.
Some dude in a, what's that called again? It's called a PC bong.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, there's been a murder.
There's been a murder.
Like, yeah, that murder happens.
There's a bunch of people protesting outside the hospital where Songwoo's being treated. I was like, I fucking hate these people. I was like, okay, criminals still have to get medical care. Yeah, first of all, bunch of people in this hospital that you're distressing. Second of all, criminals need medical care. Like,
yeah,
I hate them.
I had a note about that. Where is it? Oh, yeah, not even like considering like, you know, moral choice of protesting someone getting care. I was like, why are you protesting for a serial killer to get like prosecuted and all that crap? Like, you want him to like, you know, not have a good time before the trial is even started.
Yeah, like no one has a chance to prosecute him yet because he's in a coma in the hospital.
Yeah. And like, you don't think that this dude is gonna be like away for life. Like these are like the worst people imaginable because they just want him to not get treated.
Yeah,
like,
I know. And you can't do that. You just cannot do that.
Even if he is the worst person on earth.
He's the worst person alive, but you could see he still needs medical care.
Yeah.
He still has a human right to medical care.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But we find out that there was a rotting corpse behind the wall.
Yes.
As
Boom
like, "Ew,
accidentally
gross."
revealed Sangwoo's Bates Motel corpse in the wall.
Yes. He put his mom in the bedroom wall.
She's getting some credit for, so good for him.
And the mom looks better than you would expect her to, which is super weird. And I don't know how he did that, or if it's the mom's weird life force and stubbornness keeping her intact like a fucking backward saint or something. Like, I don't understand.
They say that too, that she isn't nearly as rotted as she should be in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just like the power of spite or.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I was like, is she like a backward saint kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
For some reason, they just didn't decompose. Like,
I don't know. It's wildin'.
Maybe something in the wall.
Yeah. Something like that.
But yeah, Boom's lying his ass off for once in his life.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I got kidnapped and I was in the basement the whole time.
Yeah, just in the basement. I was in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Basement.
And the interviewer's kind of like, I don't know, it seems a little fishy. And his therapist is like, shut the fuck up. I was like, she's a real one.
Is that his therapist or is that the friend?
Is that the friend?
I'm pretty sure it's the friend because she doesn't.
Oh, maybe she is.
She says something. There was something.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
I forget where it was, but there was something that I was kind of like, oh, I think that's the friend. But
it looks like her, so it probably is.
Yeah. If we get to it, I'll bring it up again. But yeah, Ji-yoon's mom shows up.
Oh my god.
Boom's not having a good time.
I was like, I would have broken here. The jig would have been up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
She's like, you have to live for Ji-yoon. And he's like,
Thanks.
I fucking killed her, but okay.
Oopsie doopsie. And for no real reason either.
Oh yeah. The girl says, I always thought this kind of treatment was useless. If I'd known, I would have had my dad get treated too. I was like, oh, it's the friend.
It's the friend. Yeah, you're right. I just wrote down like, why is his therapist like therapy? Sorry.
But she's cutting him up.
I don't know why I thought she was a therapist.
Well, she is basically like
oh my
weird,
god,
fucked up therapist. But she cut him some apple slices. So
yeah, that's nice of her. Sung-bae tragically gets everything he wanted, which makes me really mad.
Yeah,
after he fucked literally everything up the whole time.
He leveled up.
I hate this bastard. I hate him. He gets reinstated and promoted, so fuck him.
Yeah. But he only got promoted because of Boom.
Yeah. Thanks, Boom, I guess. Well, because Boom told them to search the house, and Sung-bae's like, thanks for telling him to look for that body, and Boom's like, ah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know there was a body in there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. And Sung-bae is like, you're gonna be, cleared from the investigation once they clear the fact that you weren't in a relationship with Sang-woo. Like, they find no evidence that you were in a relationship with him. I'm like, why does that matter, really?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Being in a relationship with him doesn't make Boom guilty of murder. Now, the fact that Boom murdered a girl makes him guilty of murder, but there's no way they'll know that.
And even that situation was like a weird psychological game that Sang-woo was playing, but Boom did murder. So.
I know in the US you can't use a duress defense on a murder case, so he would still be guilty, but I don't know about the Korean legal system.
Yeah, in the US he would be guilty. Like, there's the different degrees of murder, so his sentence wouldn't be as long as like first degree. He'd probably get like second degree murder,
yeah, I don't know,
maybe third, I don't know, because it wasn't premeditated, but he did kill with the intent to kill.
Yeah,
he stabbed.
But thankfully no one will ever find out about that, so
yeah. But he could lie. He could be like, no, he made me stab her. I killed, but only because he said to.
Yeah. And I mean, he's game to lie at this point.
Yeah. He's been lying this whole time. He could do it, but obviously he can't because he's on the verge of a breakdown again.
Oh my god. He's talking to Sung-bae, and Sung-bae is like, listen, it's not uncommon for people that are kidnapped for that long to like get confused about their feelings. And Boom's like, oh, it's sad for those people. And then Sung-bae goes, it's a matter of the heart, so it's treatable. I was like, that's fucking cold.
That's also not true.
What a cold-ass thing to say about, like, human emotion. Like, damn, okay.
But Boom is coming to terms with the fact that Sang-woo's face is all fucked up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't remember what Songwoo looks like anymore in the face. Like, I just can't remember his face because it was all fucked up the last time I saw it.
Yeah, all I can picture is his creepy fucked up face.
Yeah.
He also has a really lame cover here. Like, you know, he's like, where's Songwoo staying? Like, could I go visit him? And Sungbae's like, why? And he's like, so I could see him suffer with my own eyes.
And then he's like, can I see him?
So
though?
can I see him, please?
He's doing like the like finger, like everything but the fingers together thing. Like,
Please, can I go see him now? I was like, oh my god. Thankfully, Sungbae's a terrible investigator, so he won't catch on.
and Sungbae's like, it won't be easy. You can't just like go and see him. He's not under like police jurisdiction. Like, for some reason, I don't understand
Yeah.
why he's not under police jurisdiction. But he's in like another hospital, like a secret room in the hospital or whatever. Like, they won't disclose where he is exactly.
Yeah.
Because of the protesters, understandably so. They need to keep where he is a secret. And he's gonna be moved to or whatever, but I don't know if they bring it up yet.
Sungbae goes and I guess testifies for Boom, and, you know, he more or less gets cleared. Not quite, but mostly.
We get to see the gross mom.
Yeah. My sister had a nightmare about the mom after reading this.
Oh, really?
About the mom corpse, yeah.
Well, I've read those.
It's
like,
not that bad.
Yeah, I've read those. Like the multiple comics in the same author who did the like This Is My Whole shit.
Yeah. Junji
so
Ito.
there's like that's Junji Ito. I didn't realize that was him.
I love Junji Ito. I'm a huge fan of Junji Ito.
There was an era on Tumblr where that stuff was going around. Like the whole This Is My Whole one was the more famous one, but I read a couple of other ones.
Amiga to fault.
But there was more like it reminds me of it, but it's not as like
it's Junji Ito light.
Yeah, like real light. The missing eyes definitely helps. But it's not as freaky as other things I've seen, as I've said before.
Not as bad as it could have been a ward.
Yeah, not as bad as it could have been, but still pretty freaking creepy.
It's gross.
Yeah, and the fact that they point out that he put her in that position to like stare out at the wall, like
I know that bit earlier when they fuck in that room for the first time, and he's like, "Oh, it's a little awkward in here." I was like, "Oh."
I wrote that down.
Oh.
You're like, ooh. Ew. Ew. Also earlier, Songwoo, when he was fighting Sungbae, had said something about like carving his eyeballs out.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
But like, my question is, why did he position her like that but take her eyeballs? Or did the eyeballs decompose?
That's a good question. I imagine the eyeballs wouldn't have lasted that long, but I don't know if he also had just cut them out anyway.
Yeah, because her eyes are all like fucked up around. Like, they look too messed up to have just decomposed, but I don't know if they're just like wrinkling back. I don't know how decomposition works.
Yeah.
But she clearly didn't really decompose that much, which is so confusing.
Yeah. It's just not good.
I guess she's not in dirt, but I've seen Sicario. They get nasty after like a couple of weeks in the wall.
Yeah. I think it's maybe like a magical realism thing. I think because her presence was so strong there, she just doesn't decompose that much.
Yeah.
She's still sort of there.
Yeah, the policeman is like realizing also that she doesn't have any eyeballs, and he's like, wait a minute. So said he wanted to carve out my eyeballs. Would I have gone in the wall?
Disgusting. You're not important enough to go in the wall, man.
No. You would have ended up in a ditch next to June.
Absolutely.
He didn't even know your name. Boom, however, might have ended up in a wall.
Boom might have made it into the wall. He's big enough to make it into the wall.
Yeah.
Boom has been stressed this whole time because Sungbae told him he probably wouldn't get cleared if it became obvious that they were in a relationship. And he's like, well, we did take that cute picture at Lotte World.
And you're like, that's the evidence you're worried about?
It would be kind of hard to explain why we were on a date at Lotte World.
It's like you could have just brought him there or whatever. But Boom is like weirdly smiling. But still, like, you could talk your way out of that one. I think you could lie your way out of
But thankfully, Songwoo didn't even keep that photo to begin with, so...
No. Yeah.
He threw it away while they were on the roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. Also, Sungbae's like, I've got good news. Incredible news, Boom.
Songwoo's going to prison for life.
Boom's like, what?
Boom's like, oh, cool.
And Sungbei's like, no, it's great because at first he was given the death penalty, but then in the second trial he got a life sentence instead.
And Boom's singing, yay!
Which also I don't know how Korean prison works, but like in the US you could go visit.
Yeah, you definitely
You
could.
could have a visit. It wouldn't be great, but like
It'd be something. You could go see him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he wants to see you, but you could go see him.
But he's like, he's going to rot in prison. Boom's like, cool.
Yay! He's like hiding his head in the flowers. Like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
He's having like a weird laugh cry breakdown.
Yeah, no, he's not feeling well.
Yep. Oh shit. I should probably turn the music off for this one.
Yeah, okay. The last chapter does have this annoying royalty-free music behind it.
No, I liked it. It set the mood.
The royalty-free sad music.
It was real nice. Yeah, the royalty-free sad music.
No, it was not my vibe. I turned on my own music. Thank you very much.
I was listening to oldies, but playing in like a cafe kind of ambience.
Oh yeah.
Which made this whole thing really surreal. But for this one, I turned on the
sad royalty
and
music.
Yeah, it hit it hit at right moments, like two key moments I remember, but I don't remember like what they were exactly. But I remember feeling it twice. I was like, oh, that was a good. It lined up. It lined up well.
Because I did read it with the royalty-free music the first time, and it is timed properly with the story. Second time I was listening to 10 centimeter.
If you read quickly, it's timed pretty nice.
Yeah.
If it takes you a while, it does not line up.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty fast readers, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so the last chapter, very last chapter, Boom is sad in a hospital.
Boom is like, I have to go see him. Like.
Yeah, he's like, I have to go see him because he's going to be moved in 3 days, and after that, I will never know where he is ever again. I'm like, no, he's in prison.
You'll probably be able to find out what prison he'll be in. You could probably find him.
Yeah, but he tries to leave, and he takes a taxi to the hospital, but the taxi brings him to the wrong hospital.
And this is like the meanest taxi driver in the fucking world. I was like, this world is just not built for Boom. Like, the taxi driver takes him to the wrong place, and he's like, oh, this is the wrong place. And the cab driver's like, well, that's not my fucking problem, is it? Get out of my fucking car.
Like, you said the wrong thing. Wait, did he say the wrong thing? He says Jungong Hospital. So yeah, so the taxi driver's just an idiot.
Taxi driver's just a moron, and then he kicks him out of his car.
And he takes his 10,000 won.
Yeah, and he takes all his money and kicks him out of the car in the wrong place. And Boom is like, why is my life like this?
Boom hands over the money, but like, I wouldn't have given him money. I would have been like, you took me to the wrong place.
Like, you didn't take me where I asked to go.
Yeah. And it's like, you will get 10,000 won when we get to the other hospital, and you know.
I'm sorry. This isn't where I was trying to go. I'm lost now.
Yeah, now he's lost, and then he has like flashbacks of good times with Songwoo.
I guess they were good times. Okay, well, the first one was Songwoo fighting with that random man about a cake.
Yeah! I was like, why is this?
And the second one was that time Songwoo got mad at him for hugging him on the mountain, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good times.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? But then that lady, who was the girlfriend of the boyfriend who Songwoo was doing that, like, he had that fight with the, like, boxing game.
Yeah, it's the other girl that wanted cake.
Yeah. The girl wanted the cake that Boom was gonna buy for Songwoo, and she's here now.
And she's super nice. Like, she stops him and she's
so
like,
nice.
oh, hi, are you on your way somewhere? And he's like, yeah, I'm so sorry, I'm out of money. Could I borrow some money from you? And she's like, yeah, let's go to the ATM.
And her friend is like looking at Boom weird, and
it activates his borderline personality disorder. So he has to leave. Makes him too anxious.
He's like, no, I have to go. And he wanders around for a bit, sits down on a corner and cries. And some dude is like,
yells
freaked
at him.
out by him. Yeah, he's freaked out by him. He's like, you scare me to death. It's not like you're homeless. And it's like, how do you know?
I wrote the same thing. I was like, how do you know Boom isn't homeless? Like, he could be homeless. You could have just yelled at a homeless person.
Yeah. And then he goes into a bathroom and calls Sungbei to come pick him up. So
yeah. Sungbei comes to get him, and once again shows off his extraordinary ability to talk to traumatized people. He's like, are you a fucking idiot? Why are you so dumb? Where were you going?
Like, in this situation, he's kind of right, but also tact, man. Tact.
Like, you can't talk to him like that, you know? Why are you like this?
Because he's like, why were you trying to go see him? And you're like, okay, yeah. And then he's like, you fucking idiot. And you're like,
oh my god. Then he goes out drinking with his friend. Sungbei goes out drinking with his friend.
After he gets Boom back to the hospital.
Yes.
His own hospital. There's 3 hospitals in play here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes out drinking with his friend.
He's like, I don't understand why he keeps trying to see Sung-woo, and the friend's like, maybe he cares about him. Like,
Sung-bae's like, ha ha ha, okay.
Sung-bae's like, that sounds like a mental illness. And I was like, well, it probably is, but it doesn't, he feels it also. Like,
yeah, and then it cuts back to Boom, and he's like, he's destroyed the flowers. They're all over the ground.
Oh my god. He's a
like
mess.
curled up in bed. He's thinking about Song-woo and the time he almost stabbed him.
He's like, he could not have cared about me. He tried to kill me.
But then he thinks about every time they fucked. So
and he's like, well, we did fuck a lot.
we fucked a lot.
So it's really 50-50 on whether he cares about me or not.
He kissed my leggy once.
So could have gone either way.
My weird toothpick leg.
He did touch my nip-nops.
But then he's like, I have to go to the hospital. I have to give him this thing that I was gonna give him before. I have to
give
go.
him
I
a
have to go see him.
surprise.
And then Sung-bae gets like reprimanded lightly by his coworker.
Oh my god. So Sung-bae is sitting around moping because he feels bad that he called Boom stupid, but he refuses to apologize for it or admit that he did anything wrong because he's a shithead. So his friend is like, his friend literally goes, like, it probably wouldn't have hurt his feelings that much, except he does seem pretty slow. Like, you probably hit a sensitive spot there. I was like, not this random cop being like, he is pretty stupid.
He's like, smart people wouldn't be offended by being called stupid. And you're like, I don't know.
A little bit. He's like, but he's probably heard it before. It probably did hurt his feelings. I would apologize.
So he tries to call him. And he's like, well, I guess I should apologize in person. And he buys a little, like, lunchbox.
I was gonna say, he goes to the store, and it looks like he got, like, a package of tomato juice.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was, like, it looked like tomato juice and tomatoes. Like,
I was like, okay, he's bringing Boom an apologetic package of tomato juice.
I was like, nowhere in the story did Boom indicate that he liked tomato juice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay. Sung-bae just sucks.
Yeah, but Boom's not there.
He shows up at the hospital and there was nobody there. Boom is now at the proper hospital and there's people protesting outside. Somebody says something like, you know, how could you be treating criminals and not citizens? I was like, criminals are citizens. I hate you people.
And they're like, we demand you to cease treatment on the criminal. Stop it now. And June's mom is there too, and you're like, okay.
Okay, I guess you're dealing with some shit. The rest of these people are assholes.
But he goes inside the building, and he goes to ask, like, where's Song-woo? Where's Oh Song-woo? Can you tell me his room number? And the nurse is like, what? Why? Okay, hang on. There's where you need to go. Go to this room. He's like, okay, cool.
Oh my god, this fucking comedy of errors.
And that happens like 4 times.
Yeah,
like,
he keeps getting sent to the wrong room into random other people that have like similar names.
Yeah. And he tries to give one of them a ring. Like, that's what he was trying to give Song-woo. And this lady shows up and is like, what are you doing to my husband? And he's like, God, not again. Like,
he's like, God fucking damn it. Are you joking? Are you kidding me?
This whole emotional thing with this ring. And now it's like some lady's husband.
So he finally goes back to the front desk and he's like, why are you fucking around with me like this? Like, why is everything in my life like this? I just want to see Song-woo. Like, please, can you just tell me the correct room number for Song-woo?
Yeah. And then I thought, like, they're like, okay, we'll bring you to Song-woo. They bring him, like, down to, like, the sub-basement back room, like, security office in the, like, storage unit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, they're gonna kill him. These hospital people are going to kill. They're going
I
to
also thought
murder.
they were going to kill him.
But they're in this, like, super back, like, tunnel down storage room, and they're like, all right, here we are. Here's this little box. And he's like, I'm supposed to pass this on to whoever comes and sees for Song-woo.
Yeah, whoever his family is or whatever.
He's like, aren't you here to get this?
Boom is like, what the fuck is... Boom's like, what's in the box?
And the dude's like, are you kidding me? Like,
you came all the way here and threw a fucking shit fit in the hallway for this? It's his goddamn ashes. What do you think?
Yeah, he's like, can't you tell? Like, Jesus, you're here for his ashes. And Boom's like, oh,
what? Terrible.
But yeah, he's got this box of ashes tied up in a little cloth. And the dude's like, yeah, he was cremated 2 days ago. Like, or he died 2 days ago, was cremated yesterday.
Honestly, I was like, tell me why I'm heartbroken.
You were heartbroken?
I was like, aw, That's so sad.
I was expecting him to be dead.
I was
"Yeah, he's
sad.
probably dead."
I wasn't that it was unexpected. I was like, yeah, I mean, fair enough. But I was also sort of like, oh, they didn't get to like resolve anything.
But who were you sad for? Were you sad for Boom? Or
I was sad
Songwoo?
for Boom.
Okay. I was like, because the classic pity here would go to Songwoo because he died alone and didn't have like a funeral or anything. Like he was just privately cremated.
Yeah, Songwoo.
But like
Songwoo dying pathetically is kind of,
it's what he was destined to be.
Are you ready for the death you've earned, little man? Like, I like Songwoo and I feel bad for him, but this is about the only way it could have gone for him.
Yeah. But yeah, then Boom's like kind of mumbling to himself.
He's wandering around the hospital and he passes a bunch of dementia patients.
Well, first he realizes like Songwoo died 2 days ago, and he's like, 2 days ago is when I tried to come and see him.
Yeah, you fucked that one up, buddy.
It's like he's like, God damn it.
Sorry.
It's like I was too scared. Too much of a pussy. But yeah, then he's wandering around and he passes all these old people in wheelchairs, like having a gossip circle.
Yes, and this old lady with dementia is like, oh, there was this guy that kept yelling in the middle of the night, so I went in and I put a pillow on his face and then he never yelled again.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, is she implying that she like suffocated him on purpose? And I was like, oh no, she's just like playing it up. And then I was like, the dude said he had a respiratory problem. She put a pillow on his face in any way that would have killed him.
Yeah,
she didn't have to put any pressure.
She did
on
kill
it.
him. Like he did get suffocated to death by this old lady with dementia. Like,
yeah, I was like, the grandma's like the real fucking hero of this story, man.
I was like, wow, it really does all wrap around for him. Like,
yeah, she put
finishing the job that Mrs. O started.
God.
Oh my God. And even Boom is like, you know what? Okay. Like,
yeah, he's like,
he doesn't get mad or anything. Like, he's like, yeah, all right. He really did get his ass killed by some old lady.
Yeah, the lady was like, he wouldn't shut up. He kept saying like boom, boom, boom in his sleep. And she's like, God, I need to fucking go to bed. Like, will you shut up for 2 seconds? Pillow to the face.
Oh my God. Unbelievable that Songwoo went out thinking he still had a shot with Boom. And he was right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fucking
I stand
awful.
the grandma.
Honestly.
This is the second piece of media that we've consumed that I am like, grandma's the best.
Honestly. Grandmas are always the best. So Boom takes the ashes back to Songwoo's house.
Yeah, and the policeman showed up and was like, I need to see Oh Song-woo. And it's like, oh, they already took the thing away. And he's like, what? What do you mean? So like, police didn't even know about this. They were trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, nobody knew that Songwoo was already dead.
It's like, why didn't just say he died? Like, why should it
Wouldn't
matter?
that resolve your protesting issue?
Yeah, I don't know if there's like some police thing, like since it wasn't under the police jurisdiction, the hospital would be like...
Would they be liable for the fact that another patient wandered in and killed him?
Well, they don't know that.
That's true.
They just know he had a respiratory complication and
you'd think you'd figure it out when you walked in and the pillow is on his face and he had died.
He might have done that himself.
That's also possible. So I don't think he could move.
No, he couldn't move at all. He was all bandaged up.
Extreme Boom vibes here. He walks into the house with the ashes and almost immediately trips and spills them everywhere. I was like, this is just how your fucking life is. Like,
but then he does do that, doesn't he? Or is that a hallucination?
No, he did. What? What do you mean?
You said he almost trips and spills them, but he does trip.
No,
and
I said he walks. He almost immediately he trips.
Oh! I thought you meant like he almost tripped immediately.
Oh yeah, no, he almost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
like,
immediately almost, like almost
yeah,
immediately.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, very, very quickly he trips and falls and spills the ashes.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. He's sitting there, he's holding the ring that he was going to give Songwoo. He's crying.
Yeah, he's got the ashes all over it, and then he decides, I know what I'm going to do. In
classic Boom fashion. I was like, you know what? Rolling around and jacking off in his ashes is exactly what he would have wanted.
Yeah. But then he imagines that he's there, and they're both naked, but he hears Song-woo calling out to him. So he gets up and starts running around the house, but then he thinks he sees him outside.
Yes, now he's in like a full hallucinatory episode.
Also, we should mention he was on a crime scene. Like he crossed a crime scene.
He did.
In the house.
He
but
did.
Now he's leaving, and the policeman is looking for him.
Sunbae's once again doing an awful fucking job. Why would this not be the first place you checked when you realized he's not at the hospital? Where else would he be? He's been there all night. He fell asleep.
He's running around the streets of Seoul.
Yeah, chasing hallucination Songwoo.
And then he quote unquote sees him walking across a crosswalk with a girl, like in that first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
and he's like kind of jealous.
Yeah, so he's running after him and reaching for him, and the light changes.
It goes from green, you may walk, to red, don't walk at all,
And then it's over.
which from a purely like writer perspective, that is very clearly Boom got hit by a car.
Boom got hit by a car and died, yeah.
But like,
I think that has since been confirmed as the canonical ending, but
well, I mean, it's very clearly there. It's not subtextual, like he got hit by a car. But also, if you put any logic to it, he's in the middle of the street. The car would not like just gun it when the light turns green.
it was driven by someone that wanted to kill him.
Yeah, like he's already in the middle of the crosswalk. They would wait. But I mean, it's nice imagery, I guess.
Yeah, it just had to happen. Something had to kill him.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the city also. Drivers are maniacal.
Oh, yeah. I've seen people talk about people driving in Korea.
Yeah, can confirm. Soul Driver would run you over and just kill you.
Yeah, someone mentioned that like when they came to America and drove around, they didn't realize that stop signs were a thing.
Yeah.
Like they blew through so many of them and they were like, wait, I have to actually stop at
But
those?
you
I was
actually
like,
do have to stop.
yes! And they spoke English, like they knew what it meant.
Well, like
they're like, I thought it was a suggestion. I was like, no.
Yeah, Chicago drivers will knock you down. Like they'll straight up murder you. But Soul Drivers are the same way. Like
Soul Drivers will murder you but not realize it. Like you'll be on like a bug on the front of their car and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like Chicago drivers do it maliciously.
Yeah,
they're aiming for you. They're like 10 points.
Did your parents do that too? Were they like,
oh yeah,
see, like,
all the
people
time
on the side of the road and they're like bonus points?
Yeah.
Like, why are we like that?
I have no idea. Anyway, rip to both of them, I guess.
Yeah, they both died, which is fitting. I like that ending.
No, me
that
too.
They're both dead.
Yeah. I was like, that's how this should have gone.
Surface level, they should both die. Like, when this started, I didn't see it ending any other way. Once they were both like in it, I was like, they both have to die.
Oh, me neither. As soon as Boom killed the girl, I was like, yeah, they're both dead by the end of this, and I was right.
That's when it was locked in. Before that, I was like, no, they have to die. They both have to die.
Yeah.
At least Boom has to die. I was like, Boom has to die by the end of this.
I wish Sungbae had also died.
Me too.
I'm so upset.
But yeah, I was like, I think that's actually kind of merciful. They like put him down like a dying dog.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what life Boom had ahead after that.
He had no relatives, but his grandma wasn't alive still, right? Like, I assume she wasn't, because like they only mentioned him going back to live with the uncle.
So the author's note thing at the end.
Yeah, I didn't really read
I only
that.
read some of it because it was boring. But
yeah,
people were asking questions, and somebody asked what happened to Boom's grandma, and they said after the uncle died, she's in a nursing home.
Oh yeah, so he couldn't go to her really.
Yeah.
He didn't have anybody else. He had no money.
I don't think he finished his degree either. So
yeah, I don't think he could stay with Sungbae. I feel like there's an ethical thing in that.
Yeah. Also, would you want to?
No, but, that's his only option at this point. I guess he could have stayed with that girl.
I guess, but she's also kind of crazy.
She's a little crazy. That wouldn't have ended well. But yeah, no, he didn't really have anything. Like, he would have been hung up too much on Ghost Songwoo.
Yeah, I don't know how he would have recovered from that one.
But yeah, on a purely surface level storytelling, I like how it ended.
Me too.
Just because it felt satisfying. You're like, yep, it's wrapped up. It's done.
Yes. I felt like it ended exactly where it was built to,
Yeah, that him getting hit by a car was the climax of the story.
Yeah.
So. Which is kind of funny. A little bit.
Unbelievable.
Like the emotional high of the story of this comic is Boom getting hit by a
bowled
car.
over by a fucking car.
Sorry, Boom.
Rip to Boom, dude. His life was just garbage and then he dies in the street. Like,
oh my god.
Both of these guys, it was like your entire life was permanent pain and then you just died like a pitiful, humiliating death.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's everything.
Songwoo at least almost went out in a cool way.
Almost.
Like burnt to death.
Burnt to death would have been
in a
cool.
gas explosion.
But then it was like, get full body burns and be suffocated by an old woman with dementia.
Yeah, that part's not cool.
Less cool. Less cool.
Dying
in the big explosion would have been better.
Yeah. But also, how did they not? They were both like right next to the like gas.
You mean Sungbae? How did Sungbae not get burned like
that? No, well, Sungbae and Songwoo were both right next to the gas source, and they didn't
They didn't
just
instantly die.
immediately burn to a crisp. At least,
Yeah.
like, catch on fire or anything. Like, Song-woo he was burning and stuff, but, like, they didn't feel as burnt up as they probably should have been.
Yeah, well, I think it's similar to, like, Boom getting hung should have killed him, you know? Like,
Oh,
I think some things
yeah.
are just for dramatic effect. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think I like it.
yeah, your thoughts overall? Thumbs up or thumbs down on Killing Stalking?
Oh, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. It's one that I'd probably tell people that if they were into like shock narratives, they should read it.
Yeah.
Because it's not one that's just shock all the way through. Like it actually has a conclusion, which is kind of rare for like formatted media like this. Because a lot of webtoons that I'll read, they're just ongoing forever, and it doesn't
they
feel
just
like it knows where the
taper off
person.
when the person gets sick of updating.
Yeah, like season 3, season 4, and you're like, but can you just do one? Just do one. Have an ending in mind.
Can you just finish it?
But let me think. So, where we left, what did we leave the audience with? Like, what was the not the moral of the story, but the message? Because there's an obvious like,
yeah, there's clearly not a moral here.
Don't be a serial killer. Like,
you will explode.
But the message, like, because people were so out for this comic, and I think it was probably more just the retaliation of like some people saw it as like they're like, oh, look at it's there's romantic aspects to it, and I think that's cool. Like I'm gonna play up the romance part of it because that's the part I like. And then people were like, no, they're horrible people. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Wouldn't kill no los dos? Like why can't it be both? Like you have a little bit of weird romance in there that I guess you could kind of like you're supposed to kind of not root for the romance, but like
at least understand it.
Yeah, understand it, and like that's clearly the intent. Like it's like you have to at least be a little bit empathetic towards what is going through Boom's mind with this, even though he is a creepy stalker.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to understand.
I think when you talk about like the message you're being left with here, I think what this comic is sort of interested in is that, like the idea that like, you know, even the worst imaginable people have sort of an internal complexity that's worthy of empathy and consideration.
Yeah.
To some degree, even if they're irredeemable as people.
Which is interesting because then they both die at the end.
Well, they're not necessarily worthy of, you know, a happy ending, but they're worthy of your understanding.
Yeah, you should understand them. But that's the complicated part because if you were talking about this online at the time, like I'm trying to put myself in that moment because I do remember seeing people like discoursing about it and I was like, I don't know what's going on here because I have to pay money for it and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But they were like, you know, that was the height of it's problematic media, like it's problematic storytelling. And you're like, I guess.
I think there's something to be said for holding people accountable for their actions and the things they say. I don't think like that problematic lens is productive for making or interpreting art.
No, it's not. And it's like, I could see where you could come up with that conclusion because if you're saying that these two are worthy of your consideration and like to be treated as people and then you just kill them, people were really like, you know, zoning in on authorial intent during that time too. They're like, oh, well, the author just killed them.
Yeah.
Like they, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I guess I could see where you would, I could see where you could draw that kind of like it's problematic conclusion, but also like it's too layered to just say one or the other, you know, which is why it's like, I didn't literally not until now, I didn't think about how I thought of the ending, I guess. I didn't analyze it all in my mind. I just let it sit. I was like, yeah, that stuff
You sometimes
happened.
have to let stuff marinate for a little bit. I think for me also, with narratives about abuse and violence, and not to disclose, I won't disclose, but you know, me and my family have some experiences related to those things. But I think, you know, one of the really difficult and complicated aspects of that is that people are just people, you know, and people that do terrible things are just human beings. who don't consider themselves the villains of their own stories. And,
Yeah.
and I think that feeling that, like, I understand and sympathize with and care about a person that is capable of doing terrible things, and maybe has done terrible things to me, is uncomfortable enough that people don't know how to approach it when they're consuming art. But very, very central to Killing Stalking in its intent. And I think that's part of why I find it interesting and something that resonates with me to some extent.
Yeah.
But I also understand why that is difficult for people, especially young people, to, discuss and understand.
Yeah. To wrap their heads around it. Because also, I think one of the, like, it's not a problem, but I'm going to say problem because it's like a problem with understanding it. One of the problems that might arise is how quickly the dynamic, like, or not the dynamic, but like Songwoo's like intent switches like on a dime. Like from a narrative perspective, it kind of goes back and forth really quickly. And that's kind of like, you don't really see the like any like reasoning to it. And that is like who he is as a, like, people are like that. But when you're reading a story, it's harder to like see, to like understand why the switch is happening, Yeah,
absolutely.
So, I can see also there why like people might not understand or realize why that's the reason they're not like completely on board with this, but that might be one of them. Like if you go back and you're like, well, it's not flowing very well. It's like, well, it's not really supposed to in Songwoo's arc.
Yeah, these things aren't terribly linear.
Yeah. Not even linear, just like the time. Like it's the difference between doing like a crossfade and a hard cut.
Yeah.
Like
I think to some extent, there are people that were like read this and were successfully gaslighted by Songwoo and then got angry about it. Like I feel like there are people that read this and got to those points where he's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. And they were like, oh, we're supposed to believe him. And that's bad. Yeah. It's like we weren't though. Like
it did start this. I'm looking at the like epilogue chapter where they answer questions, and the first episode came out in 2016. It looks like towards the end of 2016 because it looks like November 4th, I think, if I'm reading that Korean date correctly. So just before 2017, and that's kind of where the like we weren't quite in the like villain sympathizers era anymore, really, but we weren't out of it completely.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to say that there weren't people that were like 100% Songwoo did nothing wrong and I love him and I want a relationship like this, because there were people that were.
Yeah.
Like they existed.
It was just it's unfortunate timing because he is like that perfect character to get the last batch of people that were really into like villain loving.
Yeah.
Like unironic villain, like
villain defense
my
squad.
little cinnamon roll, like that kind of stuff. A lot of people had moved on from that kind of attitude, at least on Tumblr, which is where I was getting a lot of the discourse for this comic. They had kind of moved on from that at that point, but not everybody.
Yeah, there was still a contingent of people that were still like, standing characters.
Yeah, and I think I made a note about this because there was something in like the second to last chapter where they were talking about like Songwoo in the media, and people were like commenting on how pretty he was and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, this whole comic is just like, it was written to critique the flower crown serial killer people.
We've gotten meta now.
Yeah. It really did though, because they were like,
yeah, it did kind of cross the meta threshold at that point,
which was extremely funny to me because like that flower crown thing did happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Flower
I've always
were
been
all the thing.
So involved in like the horror fandom for so long that I definitely was around in the era where people were horny for actual real life serial killers. And it was always disgusting.
Yeah, because the flower crown thing happened in like 2013, 2014 was like around when people were just throwing them on everything. And then someone decided, I'm going to put it on a real life serial killer. And it ended.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, we can't be doing that."
Yeah, like
not
you ruined
Dahmer, not Dahmer.
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Dahmer. That was the one.
God,
that people were like, no,
you can't do that shit though.
Yeah, and then a couple years later, this came out, and it's like, well, whoever hadn't grown up, basically at that point, still like in a certain mindset, would have very much attached themselves to this character, and then the other half of people that were ready to critique their former mindsets were attacking the people that were doing that. It's like,
Yeah, it was just annoying, and it's kind of a shame that this got buried in that, because I do think it's a good story, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate timing. Like I said, it was just not the author's fault.
Yeah,
Even though the beginning of this is like nuts. Like there's
questionable content in here for sure.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, this person did a nice job, and it was an enjoyable story.
Yeah, and that's what I heard. I
enjoyable may not be the word. It's terribly upsetting on every single level, but
no, it's still enjoyable. It looks.
I had fun.
Like we said at the beginning, it looks pretty.
It
like,
does
it looks
look
nice
pretty.
most of the time,
and it's interesting
until
it's compelling.
They start using CGI backgrounds.
No, I don't know what was going on with the CGI, but
yeah, I think I liked it. I liked it.
I liked it too.
But I also see where there's problems. I think I'd have to like make a list of like not problematic, but like where the problems are, like the holes, and not the plot holes. Shut the fuck up about plot holes. I hate that, everybody. Please stop talking about plot holes.
Oh my god.
They're fine. Unless they're huge, like it doesn't matter.
Unless it's like game breaking, no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Like if it's one that makes no sense and like
if it's one that breaks you out of the story, like if it's one that ruins your suspension of disbelief, then it's a problem. But up to that point, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, like a real plot hole is something like, you know, in the second half of Death Note when they start making logical jumps that make absolutely no sense, and you're like, well, the whole thing is supposed to be that like I'm able to follow how they're solving the mystery with each other, so I don't know what's going on. That's a problem. Like, you know, some of the goofy little shit that we point out here, it doesn't matter.
I'm trying to think of a good plot hole. Usually you can find them in like time travel movies if you think about them too hard, but it's a time travel movie, so you're not supposed to think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Those are movies that have plot holes, but you're supposed to ignore them, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Or like Song-woo's mom not decaying. Does it matter? No.
Yeah.
It's just got like a, you know, it's bringing you a narrative vibe. It's for the atmosphere of the thing. It's a thematic intent. Oh my god, do we have a final discussion question?
I don't know. I mean, let me think for a second. Give me like a 2-second think.
Okay.
So I can get the gears to spin.
I'll do background music.
Royalty free.
Or do we want to weigh in on our previous discussion questions?
I don't remember any.
I don't remember any of them either.
Shit. I only remember the foot job.
I only remember that one as well.
And I've come to the conclusion that it is not.
No, I think we concluded then that it wasn't.
We did. But I thought about it every time. I was like, but was it? Did he get off because of his feet?
What song was Sign?
What's his sign? He's an Aquarius. It's confirmed.
Oh my god, you're right. It's canon. What's Boom's sign?
When's his birthday?
We have no idea. Okay, wait. No, I'll think of a good one. That's fucking lame. We need a good discussion question to go out.
I can say Boom's a Taurus because I have no idea what Tauruses are.
I'm a Taurus rising.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but Meredith made me look up my birth chart, so...
Yeah, I only know mine because 2 of them are the same.
That
so it's
rules.
easy to remember.
I'm a Gemini Sun, Scorpio Moon, baby.
Oh, are we just giving out our... I'll tell mine. I'm Aquarius Sun and Leo the other 2.
Of course you are.
You don't even know what that means.
Killing Stalking. Discussion.
It's interesting though.
Questions.
Because I do know that Aquarius and Leo are like opposite. Like they're the 6 apart. You know what I mean?
Is that right?
Like yeah, or whatever it is. I don't know how many signs are there. Are there 12? There's 12. So yeah, they're like in the circle. They're opposite each other. So I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know if it means anything, but it means something to me now because everything's made up.
I mean, like, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, I clicked on a Reddit thread.
Oh God.
It's like questions. Final chapter. Was it the old woman in the hospital who killed Song-woo? Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, they said that.
That's not a discussion question. That's a yes or no.
Can't remember what happened to the amusement park photo. He dropped it. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Did you read it?
These are like comprehension questions, like reading comprehension questions.
Why did Boom keep reaching for the medical pill box / bottle? Because he was hiding the ring there. What? I hate this?
Yeah, these are like, can you read? Can you comprehend it? Can you not even analyze it? Just like,
Like, do you remember what happened? Did you read it and can you remember what happened?
discussion questions are, was that a foot job? Because people have to weigh in with their own opinions.
Yeah, you have to interpret.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let me think. Do you think Song-woo got a boner during the wrestling match with the police officer?
Absolutely.
Why though?
Not one doubt in my mind.
What part of it triggered the boner?
I feel like he has a boner for like 90% of the comic. I feel like it actually something has to actively happen for him to not have a boner. You know, like his default.
All right, so what parts
boner.
of the comic? What parts of the comic do you think he didn't have a boner?
I think he didn't have a boner.
I'm gonna say when he was singing that duet, he did not have a boner.
He didn't have a boner there. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say he didn't have a boner when that guy at the gay bar made him try to suck his dick.
Yes. That one's real. That one's for sure real. Like that was completely the opposite of a turn on.
Explicitly no boner there.
And the audience has to come up with the third moment he didn't have a boner.
I think maybe he had a boner for the rest of it. I can't even think of another moment when he wouldn't have a boner.
They'll tell us if they made it this far.
Yeah.
It's like the foot question.
Let us know.
See, I can't use my usual like who had the bigger dick because we know.
Yeah, it
they
is.
They showed
canon.
both of them.
It's canonical. Also, not much of a question here.
Wait, ooh. Do you think Sung-bae has a bigger dick than Song-woo?
No fucking chance. Wait, no, I refuse to entertain the thought. Absolutely not. He's got a micropene for sure. No offense to guys with micropenises. I'm sure some of you are lovely, but this particular one, it's ugly, it's weird, it's gross. I know
he doesn't deserve a good one.
I know it.
Oh, yeah. What was I going to say earlier? Oh, yeah, not to be completely hypocritical or anything when we were like, Song-woo and Boom, they're fucked up, but they like deserve empathy and like to be understood as human people. Sung-bae, he can fuck off.
No, I hate that man. Cops are not people.
We did this for someone else too. I can't even remember what character it was.
Armin.
It was Armin, yeah.
Oh my god.
Who's better?
Ugh. Oh, that hurts me.
You have to pick. 1, 2, 3, pick. Pick. No thoughts, just say.
I was going to say at least Armin's not a cop, but he's a soldier, so...
He is military police.
God, fuck that.
And he's extra stupid.
He's really...
like,
I hate him.
He doesn't shut up. At least Sung-bae shuts up sometimes.
That's true. Maybe Sung-bae for the shut... No, you know what? I'll give it to Armin because Armin at least is young. And he, like...
That's true.
He's just making some mistakes, you know?
He's following his friend...
Yeah.
Who's an idiot.
So I'll give him a pass. I'll give him a little bit
his
of a pass.
Friends. Both his friends.
Both
He's literally just
friends.
there to protect his friends.
Yeah.
And he can't even do that. Because they're both stronger than him and they both get hurt.
And they're both dumbasses.
All right, we'll give it to Armin.
I'll give it to Armin.
Congratulations, Armin. You're better than this police officer guy.
You've finally gone up in my estimation. The first time you've ever climbed up the totem pole. Jesus. Absolutely horrible.
Oh, here's a good one, I guess. Not really a good one, but here's another one to contemplate. Like what do you think triggered the switch in the dad?
That's interesting. Yeah, I would like to hear some interpretations of that.
Like, I don't remember them saying explicitly anything that like obviously it would wear down on him.
Yeah, over time that his wife is just like crazy.
But like he lasted for a while. Like it was like
he
7
did.
or 8 years at least, if not more. But
we're just going office rocker.
Yeah, he obviously broke at some point because they used the classic like gained weight when he was balding too, right, or something.
Yeah, you get a pot belly and you turn bald when you get evil. Okay, here's my question for you, Katie. Would you rather see this adapted in the style of a Hallmark rom-com or in the style of a Dateline episode?
Ooh.
Or like Forensic Files or something.
Would the Dateline episode be presented like it was like an actual Dateline episode, or would it be like a dramatized, like almost like a procedural drama?
Ooh, I think it could be kind of fun either way.
I kind of want both. I kind of want both, but for neither of them to have the conclusion, and then there's a single conclusion that both audiences have to watch together.
That would be kind of fun, actually.
It would be really difficult to pull off.
No, it would be impossible, but it would be really funny.
It could be the most like mind-boggling social, like kind of experimental narrative thing to like ever happen.
Netflix,
Because
get
you've
on
got
it.
like all these like moms who are like, oh, look, like it's a romance or whatever. And then you've got like the true crime people. Like, on the
My mom
other
would watch
side.
both.
She would. Yeah, there is good crossover with some of these demographics.
Honestly, my mom loves true crime and Hallmark. They're her two favorite things. Only stuff she watches.
The only thing is, I don't know how much of the you could probably, it's Hallmark ones. You could probably get enough people to watch it, even though it would be gay.
Yeah.
Like of the same Hallmark audience, I bet they wouldn't care. I think there's a few on there for Christmas now that people went nuts over that were like gay
I can
Hallmark
confirm.
Christmas movies. Yeah, I think that's what I want. I want both of them, but neither of them to have the conclusion and then make one for both. And they have to watch it.
Well, I think we've discovered the ideal way to adapt Killing Stalking.
I heard it's gonna be maybe an anime. I know there was like a fan that was gonna do it, and then they got swamped with like people thinking it was a real one and not just like a fan project kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then I also heard that it is in talks with like an actual studio. Like there's no confirmation or anything as of like November, so it's a couple months ago, but there was like a pitch given to a studio.
Yeah. I did hear that too, that it may be getting picked up.
But I don't think you could do it without like toning it down.
No, I don't imagine that it will be animated in the form it takes here.
Yeah, which is
especially
sad,
if it's
I like how the characters look.
Oh, I really like it.
Yeah.
I think it's too visually detailed for sure, but also I think a lot of the content would be really hard for like an actual studio to include.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be like this.
Can we get the people that did the 80s Devilman to do this?
That would be such a vibe, actually.
They'd do it.
They would rock.
Wait, fuck, you could just get the Banana Fish people to do it.
That's true.
They were willing, you just have to push them a little bit further, because they went pretty far, but it was mostly verbal.
Yeah, they won't show anything. I don't think any studio that would produce this is going to show anything.
You can't do that now, which sucks.
Just not gonna happen, but I am curious how they'll adapt it, because you have to get around so much content restriction to make it.
You could do it as an R-rated film, or an HBO show.
That would be kind of fun.
You could do it as an HBO show, but HBO wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, because this is a gay relationship.
Yeah.
That is the whole thing.
No,
Like,
this is a gay story.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough ask for anyone to produce, because it's got kind of an intrinsically limited audience.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to have somebody that's looking for like really R-rated gay content and isn't looking for like you know, like moral progressive gay content.
Yeah.
Like really R-rated evil gay content.
Also, you'd have to get actors like willing to do this.
Yeah, it would be tough.
You couldn't do this without it being a porn. You could probably get a gay porn studio to make this like shot for shot.
That would be hilarious. Really great adaptation of Killing Stalking made by a gay porn studio.
And also, I would want to see it in Korean.
I would too.
Because it is Korean.
Yeah, I would not want to see an Americanized version of this. I feel like it wouldn't read as well if it were American. I just Googled Korean serial killers, but something that popped up was which country has the most serial killers. England is in second with 166. Guess how many the US has as number one?
Is it in the thousands? Is it like 3,000 something?
It's 3,204.
Yeah, I feel like I might have seen that metric before.
Yeah.
Like I just dug it up from like the depths of my brain. Like
yeah. I think part of what makes this work both logically and just in terms of like remaining kind of funny and not not too dark is that like it's much less of a thing in Korea.
Yeah,
like, it logically makes more sense that no one is catching him and people are not so careful about him, but also
America, like we've got so many, but also they would recognize the signs. Well, maybe still not caught like quickly because we have a lot of them.
Oh, that's true. That's true, and a lot of them get away with it out of sheer police incompetence.
Yeah, but they would be more suspicious of like the police wouldn't just be like, oh, Sung Bae, you crazy bastard.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, maybe we do have a serial killer. We have 19 times more serial killers than the next country.
What's Korea? Is Korea even on that list?
Korea isn't even in the top 25.
Oh God! And what's the bottom one?
Sweden.
But like how many?
12.
Yeah, so Songwoo is Korea's only serial killer.
Yeah.
No, I think it was either them or Japan. I saw like one, like
There are a couple that popped up.
story. Like
There are a couple that popped up when I Googled Korean serial killers.
This recording is 2.5 hours long.
Okay, we should probably stop.
It's okay because we stopped around like an hour and a half.
We've just been talking since.
Is there anything else we want to? This was the last one for Killing Stalking.
Yeah, is there any other final thoughts?
Next?
What should we do next? I mean, we're taking suggestions, you know?
Yeah. We probably won't do, like, we won't record it for a while.
Yeah,
we'll
it'll probably
start
be some
something.
time.
Because this is not going to come out until, like, September.
Yeah, we've got time.
And it's March. But
Jeez.
I know we were thinking Captive Prince in some sort of capacity. Maybe. But something else might pop up.
We'll see. I'll keep an eye out for more highly controversial manga and manhwa.
I mean, anything on that site looked insane, but I don't have so
Yeah.
much money to get that shit.
No, I don't want another paid one.
Captive Prince was what, like $6 to get the first book digitally?
Something like that.
So
I have a Viz manga subscription too, so I can get anything on there.
okay.
So we'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop recording then.
All
Thank
right.
you for listening.
Thank you guys. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're way more positive than I am. I'm like, God, shit's done.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the weird.
It was fun.
The weird manga.
I did. I liked it a lot, but I'm like dragging myself to the finish line. Like, emotionally,
It is exhausting.
we made it.
It did take a lot out of me, but we made it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Also, you made it if you actually fucking listened. All
Yeah,
the way.
God bless you.
I don't know how long these episodes are going to be. I know the first one was an hour, but like that's because I was able to cut out a lot of shit. The next ones might be way longer.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You know. We don't know yet, but you guys know.
Thank you guys. I hope
Okay, bye.
I hope you get kidnapped by a serial killer that you love.
No.
I hope you fall in love.
Or something.
Bye-bye.